Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of Argo Sports Insider. I'm your host, Will Kennedy. We're here at the University of West Florida in the Fieldhouse lobby, surrounded by all this lovely hardware. Adding to that hardware, the women's golf team grabs another GSC Championship, and we start the show off this week on this edition on the links. And how about the women's team for Coach Kristen Dorsey? They go out first time since 2016 and grab a GSC title, and they did it in some pretty dramatic fashion as well. Played over at Magnolia Grove, just across the state line here on the Florida-Alabama border, and it took a great effort by Solange Gomez, who qualified last year to go to the NCAAs and played in the regional rounds and had to come back in this one. She ends up winning the individual title overall, and the team ends up making a big push to come back as well. They walk away from Magnolia Grove with the conference championship, adding to the list here, as we mentioned, at the University of West Florida. And we had a chance to talk to Coach Kristen Dorsey after the victory.
From the beginning, our team always comes out pretty hot scoring. We don't necessarily have an issue getting off that first tee box and down the first few holes. It's really coming down the stretch and closing is where we are always working towards making sure, that we can do that. That morning, 9 shots, we're all connected, like we're all a part of a team. It doesn't necessarily mean anything what you shoot individually. It means what we shoot as 4 together. And to go out there and, do the best you can. Every shot, do the best you can. Help your teammate out and do the best you can. I think the team really took that to heart in the first 6 or 7 holes. We talk all year about playing smart, but being aggressive and playing aggressive when need be. And I think they had some really good shots in the beginning, and they were able to put some good reads on putts and sink some. I was just as surprised, I think, as anyone when I looked down at the phone to look at live scoring, about an hour in and see that we had closed that 9-shot gap. At that point, it was just making sure that everyone understood that we were still, we weren't going to deviate from the plan, and we were still going to work hard and finish it until that last putt drops. Our freshman, Alegria, she is one of the most composed players, I think, in that entire field. It doesn't matter if she has a big number on a hole or a small number, she still takes the same amount of breaths, her pace walking. And as a coach, you really kind of notice those types of things. I had zero doubt in my mind that she was the player that we needed to have out there coming down that stretch, that she was the player that could pull these last few shots off. I think she could feel that confidence from her coaches that we had in her. And it doesn't matter, though she was a freshman. I think that moment of it coming down to that last putt on the last hole is something that anybody in the sport world lives for. The adrenaline rushing, the story that you're going to be able to tell, that comeback story. Everyone loves a great comeback story. And in golf, for it to come down to 1 putt for your team to advance on and to make this historic comeback is just a true testament to the tenacity that those girls showed that day. And I think if you were out there watching, you saw 5 young women in green Argo shirts really and truly believe in themselves. And took it 1 shot at a time. And that was our theme all year. 1 shot mattered. And it's kind of funny that it actually came down to 1 shot that actually mattered. We were working hard in the weight room, working hard, different types of shots out at practice. And we just constantly kept that conversation present. We're going to peak in April. Our games are going to peak in April. We're going to have it all down in April. And that's just kind of what we worked towards. The biggest thing I'd like to give credit to is just the little things we did. We talked about connectivity. We talked about how we were all connected. We talked about how important, body language is and how important it is to take that 1 shot at a time and not get down on ourselves. And then having those girls that didn't make the team come out and support their teammates that last day, I think it really gave the girls that were playing that push to get to their best, to play the best that they could until that last putt dropped.
Definitely one of my goals since I started college is to have an individual win. This year I had a rough start. It was not the best, but I focus more on the team. I put myself aside and I focus on making it as a team to regionals. I knew that we all needed some good rounds, and I prioritized my team and I did the best that I could. And I didn't know that I was leading the tournament or I was winning the tournament. I knew that it may be possible that I was in contention, but I didn't really know the situation until I finished the 18th hole and coach told me. Now finally we get to experience regionals as a team, And I don't have much advice for them. We played that course in the fall, the regional preview. Now that we won this championship, everyone is another mindset, and it's not luck that we're there. We have worked so hard, and we are there, and we have a goal, and we are committed to that goal, and we're working hard towards it.
The team does grab that GSC title. Solange Gomez with the individual honors. Alegria Lopez finishes second. She had the lead. Solange overtook her. So teammates 1 and 2. They are on to the regional rounds in the NCAA. That's coming up early May. The men, not so lucky, didn't get to defend a GSC title, although Elias Avisto did win the individual honors for Coach Steve Fell and his team. They had to battle back, though. Lee was outstanding at the top, kind of running away with the conference championship this year, but the UWF men were able to fight their way on the final round into second place. They will qualify for regional action as well. And Avisto with another back-to-back GSC individual medalist honors. We talked to Coach Steve Fell after his team's second place showing.
Yeah, we had some glimmers of brilliance, I guess you'd say, and then we, kind of went up in smoke several times throughout the first day, and kind of same thing kind of happened the second day as well. Overall, we played pretty solid, just a lot of stupid mistakes here and there that really cost us. Of course, when you get behind a good team like Lee, you can't do those kind of things and expect to make up 11 shots on one round. So we'll just use what we need to work on and try to get ready for regionals. Yeah, Elias played fantastic, just like he did last year. Great ball striking round. I mean, his irons were just on point. He hit the ball extremely well, putted very well, which we kind of worked on this week. And Cameron had another solid performance. I mean, those two guys have been kind of the two front runners on the team all season. So if we can get these other three behind them to kind of come along, we'll have a good shot of getting through this regional.
Cameron Bonner also finishing top 5 for the Argos, and the men will be on to the regional rounds as well. That does, again, come our way in early May.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
What does Argo Spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
Let's turn our attention to softball and baseball. Both will be at home coming up this weekend, with Valdosta coming in for big GSC series. A little bit of a mixed bag last week as they were on the road at Delta State for weekend series and GSC play, and the weather kind of wreaked havoc with that. The baseball team only got 1 game in. Softball was able to get 2 in. Coach Ashley McLean and the girls sweep the first 2 games of that series and putting some runs on the board to kind of get back to where they were earlier in the season. Unfortunately, did not get the final game in, did not get a chance to sweep that series, but they will have an opportunity to come home and get some stuff done against Valdosta. We talked with Coach about the upcoming series with the Blazers.
Finally getting to play midweek, I think actually helped us a lot. Gave our hitters some more at-bats that's not in conference. So it was exciting to see some of our kids that have been in a slump break through that, and then we went to Delta State and those kids showed up. So it was exciting to see, and it's exciting to get into Valdosta this weekend and have one more series at Lee, and then we get into postseason. I think our girls are feeling good about themselves and their bodies are feeling good, and they're excited for this weekend and to celebrate our seniors and to play a big opponent, and so to see it, everyone come together and be at the Fork for us, it's going to be an exciting weekend. She's just been great for us all 4 years, and I'm excited to celebrate celebrate her as the other three this weekend. And she always shows up a little differently when we play the bigger opponents and we get closer to postseason. So I'm excited to see how she's going to finish her senior year. Our seniors are just very special. It's my first 4-year class as a head coach, so I'm excited to celebrate them and also sad to see them go. But our season's just getting started, and that's what we always talk about. We play for the championships, and so the championships are about to be upon us, and we're excited to see what we can do for the senior class and how far we can go.
With the wins at Delta State, softball clinches a spot in the GSC postseason in the tournament. They'll keep jockeying for position to try to improve their seeding for that. Baseball still has some work to do when it comes to that. They went to Delta State, lost the first game on Friday, and then got rained out with their doubleheader, the other 2 games of that series over the weekend. Of course, got to move right on into what comes next, and that'll be Spring Hill, a midweek game on a Tuesday coming up for Coach Mike Jeffcoat and company. And then they bring Valdosta in for a Friday game and then a doubleheader on Saturday. It is senior weekend for both baseball and softball, so a chance to honor seniors on both of those squads. But the Argo baseball team, they've got some work to do. They are not qualified just yet, but they're closing in. Their record in the conference play is still very good, but they need to have a good weekend to improve their positioning. Baseball opens that series with Valdosta with a 6 o'clock game on Friday, doubleheader starting at 1 on Saturday. Softball doing Saturday, Sunday. So lots of action at the Fork and the Spoon coming up this weekend. Tennis on the road. They are done with their home schedule. We talked about that on the last program, but they went down to take on some really tough competition down in South Florida. They had some tough matches with St. Leo coming up on the short end there. Both men's and women's teams got wins over Florida Southern, but then Hawaii Pacific, one of the best teams in the country, was able to defeat both Argo tennis teams. That wraps up the regular season. The Gulf South Conference tournament comes our way starting April 28th up in Montgomery. We'll keep you posted on that as we roll on through the rest of the spring. And we're done with spring football. Spring practice, a little bit different this year at the University of West Florida. Some new names and some new faces. Of course, the coaching staff's still the same. Coach Pete Shinnick putting his troops through all their motions out there during the spring. But an opportunity for some new faces to step in and get some much-needed reps and improve their position as we look forward to the fall. Again, we'll be playing football on the campus here at the University of West Florida over at Penn Air Field full-time here in the fall. The big blue-green scrimmage, if you will, more or less a practice with some officials out there, wrapped things up last week on a Thursday night. We caught up to Coach Shinnick after the festivities.
Yeah, I felt coming into this scrimmage, quarterbacks had really managed the last couple days well. I thought tonight our defense did a fantastic job just bringing a lot of different pressure, a lot of different looks that created some issues. I think we were slow out of the gate. Really, I don't think got much going. When the defense is playing well and the quarterback's not playing well, you can't have a drop ball. You can't have a guy in the wrong place. And we had a little bit of that tonight and never really found a rhythm. So, we'll grade the entire process, seeing where we're at and what's taking place. But, had some positives. But, I think our defense shined tonight, and that put a little negative light on just what we saw out of the quarterbacks. Well, no, I think our DBs, Shannon Showers has really stepped up. Anthony Johnson Jr. has really done a very good job back there stepping into those roles. DeAnthony Bell left, Marcus Clayton left, Keon Holder left. I think those guys really stepped up and have done a really good job back there. Ye Givens, another guy who's played a lot of football for us. So really like what I've seen out of them and really what's happened. So, I think as we've analyzed this, feel good about where we're at. We've signed some guys, that I think will come in and have an immediate impact. And, I like where our defense is at and what it's doing. I think we've had great practices. I thought our defensive energy was really good tonight. I think the offensive energy was off a little bit, but we've had great competition. We've had great practices. Really like what we've seen and how our guys have done it. So, I'm really pleased with what we've been able to get done with all these spring practices. Now it's time to regroup over the summer and, come back and get ready for August.
Of course, fall camp will come our way in August, and the opener in the fall, September 3rd, with Warner University coming in here on the campus of the University of West Florida. That wraps up this edition of Argo Sports Insider. As always, check goargos.com, the latest schedules, those tournament schedules, links to the different tournaments that are coming up for the different spring sports, and the Argo Armada app, too, right there in your phone or tablet, gives you the ability to check scores, look at our live streams. We'll have those for baseball and softball this weekend as well. Always keep connected with those two options, and we will see you down the road on Argo Sports Insider.